my number 5 movie for 2019, we already talked about it, but I have a visual aid, unlike here, is Parasite. I thought this was a great movie, fascinating movie on every level, totally deserved Best Picture. Can't really talk about it if you haven't seen it. The surprises that come in the second half of this movie are key. So I don't really want to say too much about it. We already talked about it, but Parasite, fantastic movie. See it if you haven't. Even if you don't think you like subtitled movies, make an exception. You won't regret it.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah.
My number 5 is actually going to be Amazing Grace, which is a documentary basically based in the 1970s with Aretha Franklin. Basically, she's down in a church in Los Angeles and is doing, basically, they're making a gospel album at a church. And this is the recording of the gospel album. So it's a documentary film. I really enjoyed it. Her voice is just phenomenal. It's amazing. Like I said, you don't have to be a big fan of gospel music per se in order to enjoy it. She is one of the most accomplished singers of all time, and her voice is just amazing. And I just loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazing Grace is a great movie, great performance. I love Aretha Franklin. I don't listen to too much gospel music. I prefer secular music more, but
right. Same here, actually.
Yeah, but I think it's a fantastic movie. It's a really cool time capsule in a lot of ways because from what I understand, she did not want it released for a long time.
That's what I was told.
But kind of like Prince's Sign of the Times concert movie, he didn't want that released either, and I don't understand because they're both fantastic performance movies. They're amazing.
No, they're both great.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was great. For most of the year, it was in my top 10. But I saw, I don't know, I guess I just saw a lot of really good movies in the latter half of the year to where it's no longer in the top 10. But I thought it was great. So yeah, good choice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I approve.
All right.
Okay.
Number 4.
My number 4 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Excellent movie. Quentin Tarantino is one of my favorite directors. I wouldn't say he is my favorite director, even though it's kind of weird because he's the only director I think there is that I have given every single one of his movies 5 stars. Even Death Proof. I think all of his movies are 5-star movies, but I don't know, John Carpenter's movies are just closer to my heart, I guess. But
John Carpenter's made more movies as well.
More movies that are closer to my heart. Yeah. But Quentin Tarantino's amazing. This is one of his. They're all 5 stars, so it's hard to say one of his best. But this is probably in the top half of his filmography for me, if I had to rank them.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it is really, really good. I think Brad Pitt is great. Leonardo DiCaprio is great. It's funny. Margot Robbie is really great too. It's just an excellent movie, and I like with most of his movies, it gets better every time you watch it.
I agree with that.
It gets better because I saw it twice.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it a third time at home yet, but I saw it twice in the theater, and like with all of his other movies, second time was you just I don't know, you see all the nuances, and every time you see more.
Right.
So
I agree.
Excellent movie.
Yeah. I agree, and it's in my top 10 as well. It's a little bit further up the list, of course, because I haven't said it yet. But I definitely enjoy it. Everybody knows I'm a huge Tarantino fan. He is my favorite director. I've pretty much given all of his movies 5 stars as well, excluding Death Proof, which I do love. I do love it. It's just for me there was just a little bit too much talking in the beginning of that one. There's a lot of dialogue in this one, but it's great dialogue. And this one actually, people are surprised, it doesn't have a lot of action all throughout the movie. It's more funny and a lot of drama, a lot of just great.
It's a hangout movie.
It's a hangout movie. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Most of the action is reserved for the latter part of the film,
which is controversial. And again, without avoiding spoilers, some people don't think that the ending, the home stretch works, but I think I thought I loved it.
And like I said, there is some, is it called reimagining or storytelling,
reinventing history, kind of like Inglourious Basterds.
It's like Inglourious Basterds. If you've seen Inglourious Basterds, there's definitely some liberties taken, obviously, with the ending of how everything transpired at the end of World War II. It's kind of the same thing for this film as well.
Yeah. So don't go in expecting like a historically accurate recreation of the Sharon Tate murders or anything like that.
No, it's not going to get that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool.
My number 4 is actually Uncut Gems. I just really enjoyed it. I thought that. I don't know if I'd say it's not for everybody, but I know that there are some people that. Not for everybody. Yeah, there are some people that just. I suffer from anxiety sometimes, and it's definitely a movie where you're on Adam Sandler's character in this film, he's like go the entire film. So for some people, it doesn't resonate with them, but for me, I loved it. I thought it was a great film. I thought it was funny, had some great scenes, and it was really more of a kind of a character study in some way.
Definitely.
It was just a really good character study film. About basically a degenerate gambler, I guess, if you will. So, but it's a great film, and I thought I thought that Adam Sandler, I'm surprised he didn't get nominated for an Oscar. I thought his acting was amazing in there, and I'm not a huge Adam Sandler guy, to be honest with you. I've liked a lot of his movies previously, but the last, 5-10 years, I can't say there's been a whole lot of great.
It has been great.
So I mean, I love some of his older stuff, like Happy Gilmore and The Wedding Singer, those types of films. But lately, I haven't liked a whole lot of his films. But this one definitely is him coming back to fold, and showing he definitely has some good acting chops as well. So.
Oh yeah. And I've always known he was a good actor. I loved him in Punch Drunk Love and several other movies too. But I think this is great. It just like Amazing Grace, it just narrowly missed my list. I mean, I have a feeling that I'm going to like it a whole lot more when I watch it the second time, because I had a similar experience with the Safdie brothers' previous movie, which Good Time with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but
I just watched it.
Oh, what'd you think?
I liked it. I didn't like it as much as Uncut Gems, but I did like it.
Yeah.
And that's another movie. It's kind of in that same vein where it's just like a go kind of movie where they're always just on the go. You know what I mean? You don't get a minute to relax in those films. You know what I mean? You're pretty much, it's just like the characters are just constantly moving. They're constantly doing something. You know what I mean? There's no like downtime scenes. You know what I mean? There's You know what I mean? It's just like constantly just. But I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I like Uncut Gems better, but I did enjoy that one as well.
I'm glad you liked it, and I really love both of them. They're both similar in kind of way that their protagonists are kind of I don't know, losers.
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, that sounds harsh, but I mean, the main characters are definitely flawed.
Right.
And those are the best protagonists. They're flawed protagonists. I don't mean they're losers, but
Yeah, they're both kind of
having a really bad day.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about the films. They seem like they're set over. I mean, this one might have been a couple days, but
it feels like one day.
It feels like one day.
It's a very kind of immediate, like nonstop adrenaline rush kind of thriller, where it's just one thing after another. One Crazy Night movies. I call them like One Crazy Night movies.
They both kind of have that feel to them,
Although
they might be set over a couple days, they all have that one night kind of feel to them. So.
Yeah. So I really like their style, and I really liked Uncut Gems. And I think if I had seen it twice before we did this, I might have dropped it into because with Good Time
I saw it twice and. It's my number 4.
Okay, yeah. Well, like when I saw Good Time the first time, I gave it like I liked it. I gave it like a B, and then I watched it again, and I raised it like an entire star the second time.
Yeah, you're
so
for doing that.
No. I have a feeling that Uncut Gems I might like way more even the second time. So anyway, great choice.
All right. Move on to number 3.
My number 3 is The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I thought this was an excellent movie. It's a powerful movie. It's one of those movies that I think it is. It's incredible to me to believe that this is somebody's first movie. Because if you've seen this movie, from the very beginning that you're in the hands of like a really talented filmmaker. a lot of well, there are some of the pitfalls, first-time director pitfalls in this movie. Toward the end, it kind of veers off the path a little bit toward the end. But I still think it's just a great movie. It's the music is fantastic, the cinematography is fantastic, the acting is fantastic. It's a really good love letter to San Francisco at the same time that it is kind of a dissection of San Francisco. And I just think it's a great movie. It's a beautiful movie, really powerful. I just watched it again for the second time because I wanted to make sure that it held up before we did this. And again, like I said, like toward the end, you know, it kind of almost loses control, and then it comes back for the ending. But I still think it's a 5-star movie. It is, it's very unique, and it's a meaningful movie. So, great movie to watch. I know a lot of people probably haven't heard of this movie, but it's worth seeking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, it wouldn't be in my top 20 or 25 or whatever, but I did like it. You know, it definitely was a good movie. There's a lot there, and you know, it was set in San Francisco, being that we're basically, you know, an hour and a half, 2 hours away. You know, kind of felt close to home for me as well. I liked a lot of the characters. I liked a lot of the elements of the film. I did feel like it lost its way a little bit towards the end, or maybe kind of went on a little longer than it needed to be. There were at least 2 scenes where I thought they could have wrapped it up, and it kept going, and I'm just like, did they really need that part, or why is this part even here, or you know? So there was a few scenes that kind of threw me off a little bit. But overall, I thought it was a good film. Definitely a very talented, you know, first-time director. Definitely a film that, you know, I respect, and definitely a film that, like you said, most people probably haven't seen. I definitely recommend at least checking it out. I didn't love it as much as he did, but it's definitely a film that I would recommend for somebody to go see.
Yeah, and just again, without getting in too much into spoilers, I think toward the end, there's a scene that involves like some people are putting on a play.
Yeah.
And it's like, it feels in a lot of ways like the whole movie's building to that scene, and
then it keeps going.
Yeah, no, not so much, but the actual scene where they do the play is like it doesn't come through properly. I don't think it doesn't convey what they're trying to convey. I think, but
yeah, I had little issues with that part, and then like like I said, and then it keeps going after that, and and some of those scenes, you can argue whether it's needed or not. You can do that with any movie, but you know, I just felt like there's some scenes that I was just like, do we need to keep going? You know what I mean? Can we have ended it here or something of that nature? So. Yeah.
But I still think it's a really good movie, and there should be more movies like it. And also, it is very original. It did remind me of Spike Lee's movies.
Kind of, yeah. It does remind me a lot of his movies. It centers obviously around black people. It's set in one city for the most part, you know, whereas he's more New York. This is more like a West Coast version of a Spike Lee film, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and just the uses, the cinematography and the use of music is very Spike Lee influenced, I think. Yeah. But it's still definitely an original movie.
Yeah, I don't know what am I saying it's ripping off a Spike Lee production or anything like that, but it did have some of those production styles, I guess, if you will. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
absolutely. My number 3 is actually going to be John Wick 3. Just happened to fall that way. I don't know why, but John Wick 3.
Also shrink wrapped.
Also shrink wrapped as well. So, I have seen this more than once though, so I did see it at least 2 times in theaters, and I think 1 time on TV. So, so just haven't shrink wrapped it, unwrapped it, I guess. Yeah, but. You know, I like the John Wick films, you know, and I know that, you know, the third of anything usually isn't the best in most cases. Usually that is, in most films, if there's 3 films, usually most people kind of knock the third one of that series, I guess, if you will. You know, the Godfathers, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, I guess you could have a third film that could be the best, but you know one that you would probably suggest, but
there's plenty of good part 3s, I think.
Yeah,
including that one,
including this one. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The action is just insane, over the top, and and it's I think it's really hard to make a film that's so action heavy in the third series and still have it to be really, really good, and still find new creative ways to basically kill people. So, it's kind of hard to do that over time, I would imagine. After 3 films of killing, I don't know how many people he's killed, 2,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I just really enjoyed it. I think Keanu Reeves is a great character. It's I just love the whole underworld of it. The whole hotels and concierge and that kind of stuff. And I love it's like a whole. They have their own currency, and I just love that about it. And I just love the action scenes. It's just a fun movie. All of them are fun. I like all 3 of them, and this one's no different. And this one's number 3 for the year for me.
Yeah, yeah. I like the movie a lot. I like the whole series a lot. I still think Chapter 2 is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I would probably go along with that as well. I think Chapter 2 is probably my favorite also.
Yeah,
I think that was, because 1 is kind of, we get to know them a little bit.
Yeah.
2, they just roll right into the fold.
Blast right into the stratosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I think part 1 is like, it has some of the world building like you're talking about,
right.
And that's one thing I really appreciate about those movies. Is of many things I appreciate about those movies is that it's pretty imaginative. It's not just good guys, bad guys,
right.
like that. It puts a lot of imagination into it. It really builds like its own world. It's not. It's almost
they're all
got some
kind of
elements
bad people in a way, but they're just they're all murderers, I guess, if you will. But
yeah, it's almost fantasy in some kind of ways.
It's like a secret assassins network, basically, which I love stuff like that, and it's different. You know what I mean? It's something you don't get every day. They basically just said, hey, there's this whole underworld that you don't know about. People are assassins, and they use foreign currency, and they have cleanup men, and they have what I mean. It's just a fun film. They're all fun. So
yeah. This one I didn't love it when I first saw it in the theater. I don't know. I may have just not been in the right mood for it or something. I liked it, but toward the second half, it started to feel pretty repetitive to me. But then I watched it again at home like a month later, and I loved it. So sometimes you just got to be in the right mindset for something. You should watch Midsummer again because you probably weren't in the right mindset. But I really enjoyed it the second time. Still not as good as Chapter 2 in my opinion, but I really like all 3 movies in the series. So looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know how many movies he's going to do, but at some point, they got to stop chasing him. You know what I mean?
As long as people keep coming, they'll probably keep chasing him.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Number
2, I don't have a visual aid for because it's a Netflix movie. My number 2 for the year is Marriage Story, which was a Noah Baumbach movie. I'm a pretty big fan of his, and I actually think his most recent 2 movies that were distributed by Netflix are actually his best movies. Well, I don't know, The Squid and the Whale is really good.
Yeah, I do like The Squid and the Whale.
I really love this movie, and I really liked the Meyerowitz stories, which I don't know if you've seen yet, but it's excellent. Yeah. But I really liked Marriage Story. It's my kind of movie, which might seem kind of funny because I said earlier that I love gory horror movies and documentaries, but I really also love this kind of dialogue-driven relationship drama. It felt like I know Woody Allen's like a dirty word these days, but it did feel like a Woody Allen movie. It had a very
Woody Allen feel to it.
Yeah, and I like Woody Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like not.
Again, I try to separate the film from the artist.
Yeah.
I mean, I might like his style, but doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hang out with Woody Allen anytime soon. So.
Right, and it's kind of a bad thing to say these days, but I'm still, I'm a Woody Allen fan. His movies are good.
Yeah.
This has a very Annie Hall, Manhattan kind of feel to it, and I thought Adam Driver has never been better. I think Scarlett Johansson has never been better. Laura Dern was amazing in this movie.
Ray Oscar?
Yeah. It was great to see Ray Liotta again. Outside of a Chantix ad,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alan Alda was really good. Like the whole cast, the dialogue. It's one of those movies where every single scene is just has something special about it, or like a really great interplay between the characters. And I was also, it wasn't just like I know some people say it's like, oh, it's an acting movie. It's just an acting movie. But I disagree, because I was really involved in the story. It really moved me emotionally. I think the score was good. I think there's a lot more to it than just an acting exercise. So yeah, I pretty much thought there was nothing wrong with Marriage Story. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah, I'm going to slightly disagree with you. I didn't dislike it, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad movie. It's not one that I would not recommend. I'm more on the side that it felt like an acting exercise for me. It felt like a film to me of people like, it almost felt like a play to me. Like,
well, there's that.
You know, it felt like a play where I felt like the leads were trying to get nominated for something. You know what I mean? Like, check us out.
Well, it worked.
It did work. It did work. So, I don't know. And then, I mean, it really could have been called, I guess, Divorce Story in a sense, you know, if you will. But it's an interesting movie showing basically, you know, I guess, the relationship, the marriage, and kind of how that's unfolding and that kind of stuff. I thought that I really like the supporting actors. I really like Ray Liotta. I really like Laura Dern. I almost felt like you could have made a movie just based on their chemistry.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Alone, just a courtroom drama movie because they're attorneys, and you could just make a movie based on their. I like their characters more than like the main two leads for me. That was just for me. And then, I don't know, and like I said, this isn't a spoiler anyway, but there's definitely some song and dance numbers that I felt went along a little bit too long for me. So.
There's just like a karaoke scene, right? Isn't that it?
If
I remember right.
There's two at the very end that I felt like went on too long. So I was just like, okay, is this over, or are we still doing this, or what's going on here? So I didn't hate it. It just for me, like I said, it's not one that I would probably ever revisit. But but it seemed like it was the kind of movie that you would enjoy. Yeah. A person of your, a person like you might like a movie like that. So yeah.
Okay. That's a backhanded compliment if I ever heard one.
I mean, it seems like a Jason kind of movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it seems
good.
like a movie that Jason would like.
It seems like a good movie. Yes.
I didn't feel that.
So moving on.
Moving on. We're already at number 2. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a visual for my number 2 either, and that's because it's also a Netflix movie.
The second favorite movie of the year, and he doesn't. Oh well, it's Netflix. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Go ahead.
Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh yeah.
Dolomite Is My Name, stars Eddie Murphy, and it's just awesome. It is just a great movie. I just enjoyed the heck out of it. I didn't know a whole lot about Dolomite. I've heard of him. I didn't know a lot about, the character or the story, and he was a little bit before our time. It was like 70s blaxploitation, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the movies, so it was good just to find out a little bit more about his, what he was about. I thought Eddie Murphy was phenomenal in there. I thought that a lot of the supporting actors were really good in there as well. Thought it was a great story. It was funny. You really kind of felt for him. You kind of just wanted this guy to succeed in some kind of way, with every turn. And, it's just, and his story is just amazing, And like I said, it's not a spoiler or anything like that, but just to see a guy that, starts just doing kind of like a stand-up bit and then decides to try to make a movie. You know what I mean? Like, I think that is just, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
So, based on that stand-up character, so, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I always hesitate to say that Eddie Murphy's back because he's done this to me before with Dreamgirls and some other movies where he'll do a Dreamgirls and then the next movie is Norbit. You know what I mean? So you just never know with him. But this one really felt like he's coming back. He's trying to get back to his acting chops. And some of the movies that I see that are coming down the pipe for him seem like he's going back in that direction, and he's getting back to doing stand-up again, apparently, and this is kind of like that movie that will kick it off for him if he goes
and
back.
SNL, he went back to SNL.
And back to SNL as well. Yeah. So I don't know what the turning point for him was, but he's always been a good actor. I thought he's always made good movies. But this was just a phenomenal movie for me. So
yeah. Eddie Murphy is he's one of those actors, and we've had many conversations about this, but he's one of those actors like when he's on and he's in something good, like there's nobody better.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, movies like Coming to America,
Right.
like Trading Places,
Oh, yeah.
like Dreamgirls, like this one. I know I'm missing a couple of good ones, but
The Beverly Hills Cops movies, a lot of people like those.
I'm not that big on that
about
one.
them.
Yeah, but
There's quite a few that are in that vein though. So
yeah, but
I like the first Nutty Professor.
oh yeah, the First Night Professor. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Yeah. But like I really like Eddie Murphy. But I love Dolomite Is My Name. I think it's a great movie. It pops up in my runners-ups, my honorable mentions that are coming up in a little bit. But I really liked it. I like movies that kind of take someone who is maybe kind of looked down upon and elevates them, like kind of Ed Wood. Ed Wood is one of my favorite movies. You know, he's regarded as one of the worst directors of all time, but this movie shows you what's great about him, and it's the same kind of thing for Dolomite.
Right.
Probably, you know, again, I haven't seen any of the Dolomite movies, but
I probably wouldn't care for the movies themselves.
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's more of the movies weren't high produced or well produced. They weren't well financed. They didn't have the budget. You know what I mean? He pretty much just did the movies himself.
Right.
And there's something to be said about that, you know.
Right. Yeah, just kind of that low budget can do attitude.
Right.
You know.
And it's just a success story movie, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah, I think he's great in it. I think Wesley Snipes.
Oh, Wesley Snipes
really steals the show. show.
I forgot to even mention him. Wesley Snipes just steals the show.
Yeah.
And that's a first good movie for him in a long time as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the last great Wesley Snipes movie that I've seen. You know, so that was.
I can't remember the last Wesley Snipes movie.
Yeah, for that
was it like the last Blade movie, or I'm not sure.
I don't know. Prison will do that to you.
Yeah.
The Expendables.
True. Oh, he's in the Expendables.
The one of the sequels, like 2 or 3.
I only remember the first Expendables, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a great movie. It's just a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, there's that kind of myth with people who consider themselves movie critics that the movies that are just fun aren't good enough to be in the top 10. But I mean, it's just a fun movie, and I think it's directed by Craig Brewer. I think you're right. Yeah, the guy who made Hustle and Flow, which was really good. Black Snake Moan, which was really good.
Yeah.
The Footloose remake, which I have not seen, but I've heard it's actually pretty good.
I haven't seen it
yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's a really enjoyable, really good movie. Yeah, absolutely one of Eddie Murphy's best performances.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number one. Drum roll, please. My number one for 2019. I also don't have a visual aid for this one because it is also
Your number one.
It's a Netflix movie. My number one for the year last year was The Irishman, and I think The Irishman was just a great movie in every capacity. Yes, it's long. Everybody complains about how long it is, but I watched it in 2 sittings. I made my own intermission. But I think it was so good that if I didn't have something to do to where I had to stop it, I could have easily just kept watching the whole thing. This is kind of funny because historically, Kiera's always been more into like mobster type movies than I have been. I mean, I like a lot of them, but I don't love them to his degree very much. But this movie I just thought was great. I do love Martin Scorsese. I think this was kind of a defining film for him in a lot of ways, almost like a career culmination film. It's not going to be his last film, but if it was, it wouldn't be a bad thing really, because it really displays everything that he's good at doing in one movie. And I think Joe Pesci, it was great to see Joe Pesci back in the game again.
Yeah, he hasn't been in anything in a long time.
Well, yeah, he pretty much retired,
yeah.
and he came out of retirement for this movie, and I think. I think Brad Pitt was like a shoo-in for Best Supporting Actor, but if I was in the Academy, I probably would have voted for Joe Pesci, because I think it was great to see him back and at the top of his game in this movie. And I think everybody in the movie was great. Everything about the movie was great. My number one movie of 2019 is definitely Martin Scorsese's The Irishman.
All right. Yeah. So As Jason, as you said, as you clearly alluded, I'm a big gangster film fan, you know, and a big Scorsese fan. You know, I love all types of gangster films, more so than you. I love Casino. I love Scarface, Carlito's Way. I could Goodfellas, The Godfathers.
Not a Scarface fan. All the other ones you named, yeah, but not a Scarface fan.
What's wrong with you? This one for me, I don't know. It's not even, you know, Scorsese's best gangster film, let alone.
No, it's not Goodfellas.
No, it's not as good as
Goodfellas.
But I enjoyed it. You know, I liked it overall. I just felt it was too long, you know, and it felt long for me. You know, it just felt long. And I'm not saying I haven't watched films that are that length before. It's 3.5 hours long. I want to say The Hateful Eight probably about that as well. Yeah. So, but I don't know. It just didn't feel like it moved as briskly for me personally.
Yeah.
And then I had some issues with the aging process as well. The de-aging and then the aging, and I don't know. Some of it didn't work for certain people. I thought that some of it was okay. Some of it didn't work. You know, I'm not saying that you should have went out and hired younger actors to play the younger characters of them, but you could have. I don't know, but I just thought it was a little long. I thought the de-aging process was a little jarring for me, and I don't know. It's just not a film that I would probably sit down and watch again, even though I love, you know, gangster films. And then I hate to nitpick or anything like that in this capacity, because I know there's other films that you could say the same thing about. But then also learning that it's basically a story of, you know, the Jimmy Hoffa story, kind of, that a lot of the stuff that was in there was recanted from other people that were around or in the know of during that time period. Also kind of threw me off as well. So, you know, so it was like some things I wasn't for sure if it was, you know, just we're basing it all off of one person's opinion kind of thing. So, yeah. That's my summary.
Yeah.
So,
well, I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it though. Oh, that was weird.
yeah.
No, I think it's great. I mean, I get it. It's long. The de-aging thing, it didn't bother me at all. I just didn't think about it because, I mean, you know, Robert De Niro looked like Robert De Niro looks in my head, you know, when he was younger. I didn't
40 years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I didn't even think about it. I was wrapped up into the story, like, immediately, pretty much. So I didn't really think about it at all.
Yeah.
So.
No, I understand that. But for me, it was a problem.
Okay. All right. Well, I think you should watch it again and let me know what you think.
Well, my number one has already been said on the list, basically, but I brought my visual anyways because it's my number one, and it's out of the shrink wrap box.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That was my number one film of 2019. We've already kind of discussed it. I would say most of Quentin Tarantino's films that come out, for me, are the number one films of the year. I just love his style. I think there's maybe only one occasion where maybe it wasn't the number one film of the year for me. I pretty much give all of his films 4 stars, or 5 stars, I should say. And this one's no different. Like I said, I love the story. I love the acting. Like I said, I just loved how the dialogue was great. It was funny in a lot of parts. I know I got a little bit of flack, like you said, for the ending and how that transpired. And then there's also a little bit of flack as well for the Bruce Lee segment as well. That also was something that I read about also. I didn't, none of that bothered me personally. I thought it was great. I think if you get past that, I think it's a really good film that you could really enjoy and have a good time with. So,
yeah, I think the Bruce Lee scene was hilarious.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So, but I know his family had some issues and some problems with it. So,
yeah.
But they didn't agree with it. But other than that, I thought it was the best film of 2019.
Yeah, it was great. No argument there. It was the 4th best, so you're close.
I just said it was the best film.
Yeah. All right, now that we've done our top 10s for last year, we're going to just very briefly go over some of our honorable mentions. So it's really a top 15 if you think about it. But again, I liked a whole lot of movies, so this is not all the movies I liked. I liked many more than this. But my number 11 for last year would be Honey Boy. Speaking of Shia LaBeouf, I think it's one of his best movies by far. It's a really interesting movie where he's essentially playing his own father, telling the story of his upbringing, rather stressful upbringing as a young actor. Number 11 for me, which I have a visual aid for, is Dr. Sleep. I thought this movie was excellent. The Shining is in my all-time top 5. And I'm also a big fan of this filmmaker, Mike Flanagan. One of the best horror directors working these days, young horror directors. It's kind of a continuation of The Shining. Takes it in a different direction, but it's very faithful to The Shining as well. 13 for me would be a movie called High Flying Bird, which I think very few people have probably seen, unfortunately, but it's one of Steven Soderbergh's latest movies. He turns out it seems like 5 movies every year.
Yeah.
So, but it's a really, really good new Steven Soderbergh movie, and it's on Netflix. Number 14 would be Rocketman. I'm a big Elton John fan. This is a bioflick, I guess, but what I like about it so much is that that's what I actually like about it. It made me think like every bioflick of a musician should be a musical, because that's how they express their thoughts, is in song. To me, this broke a lot of the standard, predictable cliches of the biopic genre. I'm not anti-biopic, but they're usually pretty, they hit all the same marks. And to me, this one kind of broke the mold in a lot of ways, and it's vastly superior to Bohemian Rhapsody, I think. And number 15 for me would be Which Did All the Wrong Things that bioflicks do. And number 15 for me would be, we already talked about it, Dolomite Is My Name. Just a really fun movie that everybody should watch. All right, those are my 5 runner-ups.
I like some of them I didn't like.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for another discussion.
Okay. All right.
My honorable mentions, and I don't own any of them. I only buy things in my top.
Must not 10. Be very honorable.
I only buy things in my top 10, and even then, not always. So number 11 for me would be Dr. Sleep. I agree with you 100%. I think it hits all the points. I love The Shining as well. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. This one's just, like you said, kind of a continuation, but also different in a lot of different ways. You know, it's a very different story for sure. It's just a really good film. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Number 11 or 12, I'm sorry, is going to be The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that movie.
Yeah.
It's like one of those anthology movies where, it's 5 different ones, 4 different ones, I can't remember now.
6, I think.
Maybe 6, maybe actually 6. Some are always, the problem with anthology films is there's always going to be some that are better than others. But I thought the ones that were good were really, really good.
Oh yeah.
The Buster Scruggs one, the one where the guy's digging for gold. I thought that one was really good.
That's probably my favorite. The Tom Waits one.
Yeah, that one's really good. It was just a really good movie, really good anthology movie. Another Netflix movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of Netflix movies.
A lot of Netflix movies on both of our top 10s. Or 15s, I guess, if you will. In fact, there's more Netflix movies because my number 13 film is also a Netflix film, which is El Camino, which I thought was a really, really good film. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of the continuation of Breaking Bad. If you ever watched the show, it's basically showing you what happened to Jesse soon after, like pretty much the next day after he drives off. At the end of the series. So obviously.
Spoiler.
It's not a spoiler.
The series,
but I don't think that's a spoiler. But yeah, it just kind of shows you basically what happens to his character. Would you say you have to watch the show in order to watch the movie? I don't think so.
Probably not. I think it'd be engaging.
I think it would be helpful to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful. But I don't think it's like
necessarily. It is a standalone movie, but you're not going to get those little tie-ins, you're not going to know some of the characters that appear in the movie. So I might suggest watching the show if you haven't watched the movie.
Yeah.
And you're just not going to have that
connection.
That connection, I think.
Yeah.
So
it's not like it's not going to make sense to you or anything like that if you haven't seen the show.
Right.
But you should watch the show. It's great.
Yeah.
I think Better Call Saul is even better. But
And I don't want to knock it, but I love Better Call Saul, but Breaking Bad is better. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's not. But anyway, you should watch Breaking Bad. But if you haven't, I like it's a condensed time frame. It's very immediate. It's just a good thriller. It wasn't anywhere near my top movies of the year, but I did like it a lot. I did like it quite a bit. I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. Good movie.
All right. Number 14 is a film that probably most of you have seen, which is Joker. It was a very popular film, controversial film, if you will.
Problematic, but
I really enjoyed it. It didn't make my top 10, obviously, but it is in my top 15. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was phenomenal in there. I think he deserves all the praise that he got for that film. Another character study, basically, is what and I know he gets a lot of comparisons to Heath Ledger's Joker, and I think I don't think there's even a point to compare him, because this one he's not the Joker. He's slowly, it's a character study. It's showing how he becomes the Joker, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. I think, a lot of the controversy, I don't know, I think a lot of the controversy around the movie is a little overblown.
Yeah.
A little misguided.
Yeah, it wasn't like the most violent film that I've ever seen. It wasn't, I didn't feel like it was going to incite all these riots that people were talking about. I've seen way worse films that,
No, and I've heard people say it's like a MAGA movie too, like Make America Great Again. Like that kind of mindset movie. I don't get that at all.
I didn't pick up any of that, and I didn't pick up on any of those things. So
no,
I just thought it was just a really good film that great character study film with great acting. Drama, if you will. I thought it was just a really good drama.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Good movie.
Yeah. My number 15 is going to be another Netflix movie documentary, I guess. So I have to listen. Maybe we don't even go to the movies. Maybe that's a good thing about the coronavirus. We can just watch Netflix all day.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. Is number 15.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a good. Is it a documentary? It's a documentary. Yeah, it's a documentary. It's a really good story. It really tells you kind of, the Sam Cooke, from a singer's perspective, all the way up to his political aspirations that he was starting to have, which I didn't know about. I didn't know about any of that stuff. I mean, obviously, I love this song, "A Change Is Gonna Come," but I didn't know that he was that into politics or getting that political, and also culminates with the mystery surrounding his death, which isn't a spoiler if you didn't know he was already dead. Is that a spoiler?
Yeah, it's kind of a spoiler. I don't think that's a spoiler.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to throw that out there, but it also chronicles kind of some of the mysteries around his death and that kind of stuff. I just thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've even watched that one actually.
What?
It's on my list. It's on my queue with a lot of other things.
I saw a movie
but
you haven't seen.
I thought it was like I didn't know it was a movie. I thought it was like an episode of a series or a documentary series.
It's all one movie. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Well. I haven't seen it. I need to watch it. I love Sam Cooke.
Yeah.
I love Sam Cooke.
Yeah. Well, get to it, man.
I will.
Get to it.
I will. So we both had one movie on the other's list that we hadn't seen.
That is true.
Yeah. So I'll watch the Sam Cooke documentary,
and I won't watch Little Women.
You'll watch Little Women because it's a great movie.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically going to conclude our show. Obviously, this is our first podcast, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it. We hope to do more. Of course, we're going to need your support on that as well. If you like the video, want to see more videos, definitely hit like and then subscribe to the channel as well. We plan on having another discussion soon where we'll be talking about more current films. I'd like to do maybe like a top, or not top, but maybe three to five movies from 2020 that we saw recently that we can discuss, and see how the show goes and kind of go from there. So.
Yeah. Like here said, I mean, we've been talking about movies for 25 years now. Just while we were doing this podcast, I'm thinking of all kinds of different ideas we can have for future shows. So,
right.
I never thought I'd be doing a podcast, so I want to thank you for having the idea and inviting me to do it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it too. be sure to subscribe if you like it. I want to see more. Comments. Give us comments. Tell us what you want us to do. Show ideas and stuff like that. Otherwise, we got some good ideas too, I'm sure. So it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Tune in next week. You never know what might happen.
Right.
And then since it's coronavirus week,
there
we're gonna do a little.
Okay.
Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you want to go out and watch some of these films you haven't seen. Hope you like the movies. That if you've seen the movies, hopefully you also agree with them. If not, I'm sorry you didn't like them. But we hope to be doing another podcast very soon. Thank you.